going on, legends? Righto, let's get stuck into it. Jack Canfield's Success Principles read along, Principle 49. Have a heart talk. Most communication resembles a ping pong game in which people are merely preparing to slam their next point across, but pausing to understand differing points of view and associated feelings can turn apparent opponents into true members of the same team. Cliff Durfee, creator of the Heart Talk process. Oh, there you go. That's interesting. Unfortunately, in too many business, educational, and other settings, there is never an opportunity for feelings to be expressed and heard out. So they build up to the point that people have no capacity to focus on the business at hand. There's too much emotional static in the space. It's like trying to put more water into a glass that's already full. There's nowhere for it to go. You must first pour out the old water to make room for the new water. It's the same with emotions. People can't listen until they have been heard. They first need to get whatever is bothering them off their chest. Oh, fuck. I was just having a flashback to something that's happening. It's annoying me. It's like playing a conversation while I was reading that, and I was like, shut up. I'm really happy with the situation. Okay, first need to get what's bothering me off the chest. Whether you are someone who has just come home from work, a parent looking at your child's report card with all C's, a salesperson attempting to sell a new car, or a CEO overseeing the merger of two companies, you first need to let other people speak about their needs and wants, hopes and dreams, fears and concerns, hurts and pains, before you talk about yours. It opens up a space inside of them to be able to listen to and take in what you have to say. What is a heart talk? A heart talk is a very structured communication process in which 8 agreements. This door drives me insane. Heart talk is a very structured communication process in which 8 agreements are strictly adhered to in order to create the safety for a deep level of communication to occur without the fear of condemnation, unsolicited advice, interruption, or being rushed. It is a powerful tool used to surface and release any unexpressed emotions that could otherwise get in the way of people being totally present to deal with the business at hand. It can be used at home, in business, in the classroom, with sports teams, and in religious settings to develop rapport, understanding, and intimacy. When to use a heart talk. Heart talks are useful before or during a staff meeting, at the beginning of a business meeting where 2 new groups of people are coming together for the first time, after an emotionally stimulating event like a merger, a massive layoff, a death, major athletic loss, an unexpected financial setback, or even a tragedy such as the terrorist attacks of September 11, 2001. When there is a conflict between 2 individuals, groups, or departments, on a regular basis at home, in the office, or in the classroom, to create a deeper level of communication intimacy. How to conduct a heart talk. This is more what I'm sort of looking for. A heart talk can be conducted with any group of between 2 and 10 people. You want to break a group larger than 10 into smaller groups, because if the group is larger than that, the trust and safety factors tend to diminish, and it can also take up too much time. The first time you conduct a heart talk, start by explaining that there is value in occasionally using a structure for communication that guarantees a deeper level of listening. The structure of a heart talk creates a safe, non-judgmental space that supports the constructive rather than the destructive expression of feelings that, if left unexpressed, can block teamwork, synergy. This is all fluffy, nothing stuff to me, which are vital to the productivity and success of any venture. Guidelines for heart talk. Start by asking people to sit in a circle or around a table. Introduce the basic agreements, which include these. Only the person holding the heart talks. You don't judge or criticize what anyone else has said. You pass the object to the left. Oh, I've seen this in one of the guys that mentors me. Pass the object to the left after your turn. You talk about how you feel. You keep the information confidential. You don't leave the talk until it's declared complete. If you have plenty of time, a heart talk completes naturally when the heart makes a complete circle without anyone having something to say. Ask the group to agree to the guidelines, which are very important to make sure the talk does not deteriorate and lose its value, because no one is supposed to talk except for the person holding the object. It is often best to wait until the completion of the talk to remind people about certain agreements that need more attention. Another option is to have the agreements written out on paper or a whiteboard. You can merely point to them if someone is getting too far off track. Go around the group at least once. Do you know, this reminds me of in Breaking Bad when Walter's doing things that are driving the whole family crazy and they sit down with a pillow and it's the talking pillow. This feels a bit airy-fairy bullshitty to me, I'll be honest. But it's like this talking pillow. And then it's just everyone just attacking old mate who's sitting there with cancer trying to find a way to feed his family. I'm sure this has got its place. I don't know. Maybe it's not solution-oriented enough for me. But surely it'll work somewhere. Another option is to have the agreements written down on paper and go around the group at least once with everybody getting one turn. Set a time frame, say 15 minutes to 30 minutes, longer for more emotionally intense issues. And keep going around the group until the time runs out or nobody has anything more to say. You can use any object to pass around: a ball, a paperweight, a book, anything that can be seen by the other participants. I've seen everything from a stuffed animal, hospital staff at baseball, college team, baseball team, football helmet, to a Native American talking stick. Well, there's something in my roof. I actually prefer to use the stuffed red velvet hearts. There's definitely something in the roof. But he is a sufferer of the originator of the Heart Talk that sells on his website, because they remind everyone that we are hearing that what we are hearing is, oh man, coming from the other, and then we're trying to get to the heart of the matter at hand. Results you can expect from a heart talk. You can expect the following results from a heart talk: enhanced listening skills that you would get, constructive expression of feelings, improved conflict resolution skills, improved ability to let go of resentments and old issues, development of mutual respect and understanding, greater sense of connection, unity, and bonding. Oh, this is going to do my head in. It's going to be a possum, mice, or rats. Awesome. Either way, I need to get a cat up in that roof. I don't have a cat. A dog. I'm going to stick a Rottweiler in the roof. But that would be funny. Except I'd have a broken roof because he'd be stepping on everything and it just wouldn't work. One of the most valuable uses of the Heart Talk for me was in a week-long training I was conducting for 120 school administrators in Bergen, Norway. We were about to start our afternoon session when someone announced that one of the workshop participants had been killed in an automobile accident during the lunch break. There was massive shock and grief in the room. It would have been impossible to proceed with the scheduled agenda, so I divided the participants into groups of 6, taught them the guidelines for a heart talk, told them to just keep passing the heart around until everyone in the group said, "I pass," twice in a row, meaning that there was nothing else to be said. The groups talked and cried for over an hour. People talked about their grief, their own sense of mortality, how precious and fleeting life really is, how scary life can sometimes be, how you need to live in the moment because your future is never guaranteed. We then took a short break and were able to proceed with the scheduled activities. Whatever emotions there were had been shared. The group was once again ready to focus on the material I was there to teach. The thing that I love about this genuinely is that it's giving you an opportunity for the emotion to be acknowledged rather than suppressed, which is what most people do. Most people, when they're in heightened emotional trauma, they push it down because expressing anger or frustration or sadness or whatever means that you're a chronic depressive or whatever they want to label it these days. You get labeled and stuck as these things rather than acknowledgements, just like waves. Like they move, they come, they flow, they go around. And if you try and stop a wave, it tends to just go through you, right? But it doesn't mean it's not there. It doesn't mean it's not being felt. If you're just not letting that wave crash, it's still building momentum, right? It's still building power. So I like this for the purpose of it allowing the emotion to be expressed. And I think it's got some really, really good uses. Probably in more high trauma situations, I can see how it would be used really well in family situations, and conflicts could be used in. So probably in more intimate group settings for mine. So like, if there's a death in the family, great opportunity to sit down and have everyone just listen while everyone's feeling sort of similar emotions. If there's been a really trying time in the business and your shit's falling apart, and it might be a good time to use it. Could be with kids. Yeah, man, even with kids, things happening with kids at home, parents getting divorced, and letting the kids have a say and listening to them without judgment. That could actually be a really powerful way of doing this. I think the whole heart talk word's a little bit corny, but the principle behind it's really good because it allows these emotions to be expressed. And it's exactly like it said with the pouring of the glass. If it's not expressed, it just doesn't work. You got to empty the glass before you can fill it back up. And so I said, whatever the emotions there were had been shared, the group was once again ready to focus on the material I was there to teach. If someone doesn't feel heard or understood, or the emotion is not expressed, it's very, very hard to get anything across. So I think from a point of view of parents or teachers or instructors, this can be really, really useful if you're really struggling to get something across to people. And this is the thing, they've got to be willing to talk to. They've got to feel safe enough to talk. And sometimes it'll work, sometimes it won't. But if you can create that level of rapport where they're open and comfortable to talk and express themselves, then it can be really powerful. But anyways, hard talk saves a family business. It's funny. It's just what I was talking about. James owned a small family business that had supported him and his family for years. His wife and 2 sons, both married with children, also worked as employees in the company. At least once a week, they would all gather together for a large meal, and James would do his best to unify this growing family. James hoped that when he retired, the family business would survive and continue to provide a living for everyone in the extended family. Though it looked like an excellent plan on the surface, there had always been rivalry and competition between the 2 sons. When both their wives started working in the business, things started coming apart at the seams. Resentments over little things were pushed down to supposedly keep the peace. Exactly, this is where it's really important. But they would resurface later in sarcastic comments and unexpected outbursts. Hang on. Really, yeah. Proper truth, that. When the 2 sons actually threw a couple of punches at each other, James realised they all needed to talk and clear the air. But he was afraid the situation could become even more explosive unless there were some powerful ground rules present. So he decided to use the structure of a heart talk. Sitting in a large circle after their weekly family meal, the group was unusually quiet. Not knowing what to expect, James started by getting everyone to agree to the 8 rules and structure of the talk. At first, the heart was passed without much to say. The second time around, expressed his anger, and when the heart reached the other son, Even greater hostility surfaced. Yet it was clear no one was going to violate the guidelines, stomp out of the room, or throw something. It wasn't an easy talk, and there were times you could tell everyone would have preferred any other activity, even if it were doing the dishes. But as the heart kept going around in the circle, everyone began to have the experience that he or she had been heard, and the hostility began to dissipate, feel understood. Then one of the son's wives started crying and shared that she was at her wit's end. With all the friction in the family and the business, she couldn't take it anymore. She said that something had to change. At that moment, something released, and there wasn't a dry eye in the room. As the heart continued around and around, the sadness was soon replaced by acknowledgement of their love for each other and the things they were grateful for. Though it will never be known for sure, James believes that the heart talk was most likely the key thing that saved his business, his family, and his sanity. What I feel like saying saves millions of dollars. My friend Marshall Thurber is a trainer and management consultant who has been teaching people how to build and protect their wealth for over 30 years. Recently has been working with Lee Brower of Empower Wealth to help super wealthy families learn how to properly steward their money and consciously pass it on to the next generation. Marshall uses a simple variation of the heart talk, which he calls the what I feel like saying exercise, with amazing effectiveness. I start every business meeting by asking everyone present to first respond to this question. What do you need to say in order to let go and be here? One of the keys to the success of the process is that no one can comment on what is being. I start every business meeting by asking everyone present to first respond to this question. That's a good question. What do you need to say in order to let go and be here? Good question. One of the keys to the success of the process is that no one can comment on what is being said. Everyone must wait until the speaker has finished speaking, say thank you, and then move on to the next person in the group. I can tell by the energy if we need to go around a second time. Sometimes we may go around the group a couple of times. People can pass if they're already clear and present. I've been working with a very wealthy family that has hundreds of millions of dollars but is totally dysfunctional. Children were not talking to their parents and were punishing them by not letting their children talk to their grandparents. I hate when people do that. The enmity, and I think that's meant to be enmity. The enmity, it's called enmity, maybe it's a word, I don't know. The absolute inability to communicate and the lack of cooperation were costing the family tens of millions of dollars. Sat them all down and said, look, it's clear that everyone has a lot of emotional baggage from the past, and there are a lot of important issues that are unresolved. But if we can't come together and resolve them in the present, there's no reason to go any further in trying to create a new and better future. When I proposed that we do the what I feel like saying exercise, everyone thought it was going to be a total waste of time. But I finally convinced them to do it. And we ended up doing it for 4 hours. And it wasn't just one round. It was round after round after round. But when those 4 hours were up, they're in love with each other, to the point where they have now agreed to work with the team at Empowered Wealth to create a new, more conscious way of working together with the family's wealth. It's far from perfect yet, but the family went from an absolute inability to communicate to getting totally present. And out of that level of total presence came 2 powerful family agreements. Family first. And together we're better. That's all we did. But it took the entire day. If we hadn't done that, the what I feel like saying exercise, there would have been no hope for this family. None whatsoever. The miracle is that once you get presence, underneath all of the anger, resentment, and distrust, there is nothing but love. And from a place of love, you can create anything. Principle 50. Tell the truth faster. Also a month overdue with it. Oh, not a month. I'm about a week overdue with this book. I need to finish it so I can get to my next one for this month. But it's a good book. Hope that helps someone. See you, peeps.